Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game here in New York City, being joined by the Motown phenom, Mr. Kevin Lee. Always great to see you and catch up. Now, I noticed your last fight was in Rochester. Now you're fighting in the Garden, the historic Garden. How does that feel?
It's amazing. I'm fighting a guy from New York too, so it's gonna. I feel like the energy in that building is just gonna be crazy. You know, certain places you can walk in and you can just feel the energy. You can feel the history, and MSG is gonna be one of them.
Now, your last fight was in welterweight. Now you're moving back to lightweight. What was the reasoning behind that? Was it because of the opponent presented, or was it by choice?
It was inevitable that I was gonna move back down. Even after I went up, fought the number 3 guy in the world, but something in me just felt like 155 has always been home. It's where I started. It's where I want that belt, and it's the bigger fights at 155 too. So the timing and everything just worked out perfect. I definitely wanted to fight again this year, and this just worked out perfect.
Now, do you see a move back up to welterweight in the future?
No. Not for now. Not for now. We'll see. We'll see how this whole thing play out. But there's a title I got to get, and Tony and Khabib are scheduled to fight. So I'm gunning for either one of them.
Now, I noticed recently in an interview, you mentioned your past few fights, you've been a bit unfocused, kind of like just a car without a driver. Can you kind of elaborate on that statement?
Yeah, I think I may have did an interview with you maybe like years ago, and we when I first got to Vegas, and I kind of set how I structured my team around me. I had the driver was my head coach, Robert Fallis. Dewey Cooper was the engine. You know, he was the one that got me ready to fight. And then Corey Goodwin was the mechanic, the one that put me back together when I broke down. And since I haven't had Fallis with me, I've just been feeling like I'm just on the road, just moving, you know, and it's hard to really explain why, even for myself. But you know, going with Faraz Zahabi and getting that guy with the eye who can tell me what I need to hear, who can kind of steer me in the right direction, I feel like it's going to be a huge benefit to my career.
Do you feel like he kind of fills that void in a bit? I mean, I know nothing can fully fill a void, but coming close?
Yeah, I mean, they're so different in their own different respects, but it's good, though, in ways because their styles are completely different. And I've always felt like to be the best fighter, you got to be the most well-rounded. So I'm kind of getting both ends of the spectrum. But they have a similar way of approaching the game. They got a similar way of even talking to me. Like, I need somebody who's just gonna tell me straight up, like, hey, if I suck, tell me. Like, you know, like just let.
Did
me
he
know.
say that?
I mean, I'm saying if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Don't just bullshit with me and all this. So he's somebody who kind of kicks it straight for us. Follis was the same way, you know, and I feel like it's gonna get me in the right direction.
Now, this is your first full training camp working with Faraz. What surprised you the most about him?
His approach to the game is so cerebral, even more so than I thought it was going to be. I knew he was, you know, always a tactician and always had his guys more focused on the technical aspect of it, but I didn't expect the way that he went about it. And it took me a while to kind of get going, but I felt like every week I just was getting better and better and better. And even in my sparring, like I could feel it. And it's really going to play big dividends in this fight.
Now, throughout the past few years that you and I have done interviews, I mean, we've spoken a lot about Tony Ferguson, Khabib. They're still the ones at the top. You just mentioned they will be fighting, hopefully, first quarter 2020, as reported by the Schmo. How do you see that fight playing out?
It's going to be a damn good fight. Like I said, I thought before I saw Khabib fought Dustin, I was like, oh, Tony's going to blow him out the water. You know, he's going to be too tough. He's attacks from the bottom too well. He's just going to keep moving. He's going to outpace him. But seeing the way that Khabib was, it makes the fight even closer. So it's hard for me to take a pick, to be honest with you. It really is. Before, I would say Tony all day. But now, man, yeah,
sort of 50-50, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's all gonna be about I think it's gonna be about which Tony show up. You know, if it's the old Tony, okay, he might win. If it's a more broken down, beat up Tony, we'll see.
When I recently spoke to Randy Couture, he told me, and I do hope Randy is feeling a lot better. He told me do you think Khabib is one of the best fighters today, or the best?
I think pound for pound, arguably one of the best fighters in the sport right now, for sure. He's got everything firing. I mean, his submission game's great. He's developing a very, very strong striking game. He brings a very tenacious attitude, and he's literally like a pit bull on a chew toy. He's not letting that go. So I like watching him fight. And there's some similarities in the way he likes to fight and the way I like to fight. So that's fun for me too.
What are your thoughts?
That's what make me want to fight that motherfucker. Just
I feel the fire.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people think he is. He might be. Yeah. He might be. I want to see. That's what. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I can get him. I've been feeling like that for years, and like I said, for this one, I'm gonna let the fighting do the talking. You know, I'm fighting somebody who a lot of people on the inside think that Gregor could stand a good chance of beating Khabib just because of his wrestling accolades. He's most decorated in the sport. So, yeah, let me do that.
Conor McGregor held a press conference. He said he is returning January 18th, 2020. What do you make of that?
Good for him. I mean, I hope he gets some fun fights. I hope he stay competitive. You know, I hope he stay on this side of the bracket and don't jump into the okay, I'm just gonna take a Gaethje fight, or a Khabib or a Cowboy fight, and I'm just gonna have some fun with this and try and make some money and go for the BMF title instead of stay competitive. Go. If he competitive, then we'll see each other in the future. If not, then good luck to him.
And lastly, when you say go for the BMF title, do you think the winner of that fight will be defending that title, or do you think it's a one-off?
I mean, do it really even matter? You know what I mean? Like, let's be real here. It don't even matter what they do with that shit. I mean, it sells. Good for them. Not really what I'm interested in. That's one of the reasons why 170 was kind of a one-off for me. I saw the direction it was going in. I'm like, I ain't really with this shit. Like, I'm here to really compete, really try and better myself and like really do something with this shit.